All right, political analyst John Dadian spent the entire evening last night just poring over each and every one of these races and the propositions and so forth, locally and nationally. So let's get him back in here.
Yeah, John, thanks so much for coming back with us
morning.
this morning. We certainly do appreciate it. Let's start on the national level, though. When it came to the swing states, which have been deciding elections in the past, was it down to Ohio this year again?
It looked that way, but again, a lot of states that I predicted that Romney would win to stay in the running did not happen, such as Pennsylvania. So they kept swinging, and they kept all swinging to the left.
What does this say about the polling process? Anything? I mean, we generally knew it was going to be close, but we kept hearing in the final days, oh, it's this one, that one, all trending for Mitt Romney, and in the end, none of that seemed to materialize.
No, it really didn't. And again, you've heard me say time and time again that a poll is nothing more than a snapshot in time. As you remember, what I've done here for the last couple of weeks is I took the top 5 polls and did the average. And I think that was pretty accurate for the obvious reason. But again, some of these, you always have to look at the methodology as far as are they doing it by robocalls, are they doing it with biased questions, et cetera. All that factors in.
Let's talk about what the next few months mean for President Obama. There's this so-called fiscal cliff that's quickly approaching. What does this mean for him, and considering that the House didn't change and the Senate didn't change?
Well, again, during one of the presidential debates, he, I think, went off script, and I think his advisors kind of took a gulp when he said it won't happen because there is a clock ticking, and a lot of people are afraid that it is going to happen. So clearly, I think that's going to be priority number one, without a doubt. They have to address that and see if they can avert that.
I think a lot of folks that were maybe counting on Mitt Romney are still a little bit stunned by the fact that this president made a lot of promises about reducing the deficit. It's drastically been increased over the last 4 years. He talked about reducing unemployment down into the 5% range. It's still up around 8%. And they were looking for accomplishments and saying, well, what has this president done to earn a second term? And yet he's got it. And with the majority of the country saying, yeah, we want him in there for another 4 years. What were folks voting for, do you think?
I have no idea. How's that for an answer? I think 2 of my favorite quotes in history are applicable. The first one by Abraham Lincoln: the American public get the amount of democracy they deserve, the amount of government they deserve. And I think that's what you saw. Now, I don't want this to be against the president, but the other one is the famous quote is, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. I think just a lot of people, they just like this leadership style, et cetera. And okay, so we promised this, didn't do it, and they still went from. I'm still looking through the numbers, and I'm still scratching my head.
Yeah, well, it's going to take a while to really kind of analyze this, isn't it?
It really is.
All right, John, thanks so much. I know that you're sticking around as our questions come up this morning, and some of the votes continue to come in. All right.
Very good.
Thanks, John.